Hey, thanks for clicking on my video. Today I'm going to be doing my favorites for the month of August. August was a really fun month. I had a lot of makeup gigs in August, which meant I wore a lot of the same stuff on my face. I didn't really stray much, and I traveled a little bit. So I'll kind of tell you a little bit about what my favorite things were and what my staples of the month were. Since it is late, I thought I would make it up to you by adding a little bit of inputs somewhere, how I use some of the products that I'm talking about. So we'll start nowish. First favorite I didn't use today, but I've been using it a lot this month, and I bought it this month. I bought it when I was going to New York, and I didn't want to bring my aerosol Batiste dry shampoo. So I was like, oh, let me play with this. It's called Powder Play by Big Sexy. This is in the little section at Ulta at the very end of like the line where you can like pick your little travel size stuff, and it's a texturizing powder. It feels weird. It's almost like a dry to wet to dry texture. I use this on my roots, and especially when I wear my hair down and straight, it just looks a little flat, so I just need something. And at times dry shampoo just doesn't do it. It needs something more than that. I'm not sure why I haven't used this before, because this is like, this texturizing powder stuff is no joke. When I'm, doing gigs, especially this month, I saw one hairstylist using something like this on the bridesmaids when they were doing an updo. And I was like, what is that? And I had time to kind of chat with her and everything, and I was asking her about it, and she was telling me that it's just like, you need it in your life, what are you doing? So I tried it out. I love it. You kind of like douse it in, like, I usually part my hair here, douse it here, sprinkle it, make sure you do it evenly, because it can feel really gritty on one spot and it is hard to work with. So just make sure you kind of tap it along and then like shake it into your hair, and you'll just see like it's just like a more full hair. That's like my goal in life, is just to have full hair. So this has been amazing, and I really love this. And it's also really great for if you're doing an updo. Just kind of creates a little bit of grit so your hair doesn't slide and flatten out throughout the night. The next favorite is this concealer. Did I talk about this last month? It's the Tarte Shape Tape, and this one is in the color Tan Sand. I'm around an NC42 right now, and I use this all over my face. I was using it as concealer. I still like it as my concealer. This is what I took on my trip to New York, and it was just so much easier to have something tiny like this. It makes your face look amazing. It's super matte, so everything you put on top of it, when I put bronzer on top or when I put a powder on top, it just glides on really well. There's no sticky patches or anything, and this lasts all day long. It's amazing. I love it. I have a backup of this in this color, but I may need to get a lighter one for when I turn into more of an NC40 kind of color. But this is awesome, and I think I've talked about it already, but if you haven't tried it as a foundation, I would try it as a foundation, because it really is beautiful. It's flawless, it's full coverage, and it does a really great job with lasting, especially if you have oily skin in this area. For my highlighting, concealing, so I like putting that Tarte Shape Tape even under my eyes, although it is like the same tone as my whole face. But what I like to do, and I do that because it lasts really well under there, but what I like to do is I like to put this brightening pen kind of in these areas to brighten it. And this is the highlighting pen from, it's a highlighting and conceal pen. It's from Wet n Wild, and this particular color is called a Happy Medium. There's like 3 tones, and they're all very light, but this one does a really great job if you have like my skin complexion. Probably like a shade or 2 darker, you can still get away with this, but I will say the range is pretty small. This is only a few bucks. I think it's $5. It's at Walgreens. It's super inexpensive. It compares so well to the MAC brightening pen, highlighting pen in Bright Forecast. It's awesome. Just recently got through with one of these, and I had to repurchase it, so it was kind of just easy. It was an easy purchase for me. It's nice because it's really convenient, and I just have loved wearing this underneath my eyes to brighten up the areas when I'm not really feeling that the concealer needs to do that for me. Okay, the next favorite that I've really been loving is this Fit Me powder. It's kind of like a pro and con, kind of like a hit and miss at the same time. I got 2 colors. I got the color light medium and then the color medium. I was using both, and I was trying to figure out which one's the better shade for me. This one's pretty lightening and brightening underneath the eye, but I like it. If you do it softly, you can get away with it still. The medium one, I just found that it was a little bit too much of a pink tone and neutral, where it made under here look pink, like a pink. So I returned that one at Target and I just kept this one. I really like it. This is very mattifying. If you have oily skin and you are a firm believer in baking or pressed powder and adding powders to kind of combat that oil, which I am, not baking, but the latter, then I would definitely try the Maybelline one. It's they have a lot of shades actually, and I would just buy a couple just to make sure to find your perfect shade and then return the ones that don't work. These are super inexpensive as well, so you get so much product. It really is great for mattifying. This has definitely replaced the Laura Mercier powder in my everyday routine. I used to use that a ton, but now I use this one because it has that tone in there that does make a difference. The Laura Mercier one is a little bit too brightening. It looks a little too light on my skin complexion. It's not my favorite. This one is my total favorite. So I'm a believer and I love it. Two eyeshadows that have been my favorite this month. I never really talk about eyeshadows, but this month specifically, I kept wearing the same ones over and over. This is the color I'm into it. It's a MAC shadow. They actually do sell this in a pan now, and when I bought it, it wasn't sold in a pan. I was kind of annoyed, but whatever. I use this a ton. I especially use this underneath my lash line, but I love using this as a smoky eye color. I've gotten so many girls who like question like, what are you wearing on your eyes? And actually two girls from the Lovables, it's like the cheerleading team from the Bulls, two girls asked me this last year. They're like, oh my god, what color are you wearing in your eyes? And they both, one was much deeper complexion and one was my complexion, and I told them and they both bought it and they both loved it. And then I saw one of the girls the following year, just last month, and she's like, ooh, that color, I remember you told me about the color, and I was like, didn't I tell you, girl? And sure enough, I was wearing that color when she was telling me that. So it was really cool to see that she, you know, really liked my recommendation. But it just goes to show these colors like these are just kind of boring and they don't look that fun or exciting, but they really do make a huge impact on your eye color. But this has been my favorite and I use it a ton, and I'm kind of happy it's in its own case because I get to take it with me when I travel. The other eye product is, or just in general, this one's all shattered, so I'm not really gonna open it. This is a Dazzle Shadow. The Dazzle Shadows from MAC are like pressed pigments, what they used to be. They're very similar to like the Stila ones, but they're not wet and they don't like get chunky. These are beautiful. This is in the color Slow Fast Slow. That's what I'm wearing on my eyes today. I love wearing this all by itself. I just posted an Instagram kind of like quick time lapse of me using a different color on it, and it was pretty much this by itself. I like to pick it up with my brush. I like to spray it with a misting spray. This one's the Make It Last setting spray by Milani. This is also my favorite, but I'm gonna stop talking about it this month. And I like to spray it and then layer it on top of my eyes. It makes a huge difference with how it lays onto the skin. So all the Dazzle Shadows are amazing. If you have not seen them lately, go to MAC, play with them. They're amazing. They're so good. Okay, just a few more favorites. These two mascaras. I like actually using them together. This mascara, this is the Lash Paradise mascara from L'Oreal. It's amazing by itself. It's beautiful, it's chunky, it's full. Your lashes look really great. This mascara I've talked about before. This is the Lash Stiletto in waterproof. I don't love the plain one. I need the waterproof version. And this one does a really good job of making your lashes look like you have a million of them. Like they separate them out and combs each one perfectly. And I love this one for my bottom lashes as well. So what I like to do is I like to kind of like go back and forth with them. Either I'll put this one on first and then this one second to kind of like separate them, or I'll put this one first to separate them and then add some volume with this one at the base. So these are great together, but I love them separate by themselves. This one will just give you more of a full lash, and this one will be more natural, but very, just make your lashes look like you have a billion of them. I love these. They're my faves. My last two favorites are with lips. So this is Half Red. It's what I'm using to outline my lips today. I used a different liquid lipstick. It's called, it's from Wet n Wild. I'll kind of put Mocha. Give me Mocha. But this one's called Half Red. It's a really great lipstick. I've been using it a ton lately. Whenever I do a nude lip, I kind of use this to outline and then like put the nude lip in the center and kind of like ombre it out. It looks really beautiful on tan skin. So it's a good selling point for me is using this all on its own, and that's a whole different lipstick. You can put a gloss on top of it. It looks really beautiful. In general, I just really like the mauviness to it. It's just such a pretty color. But again, you can like make this, you know, look a little bit deeper for a deeper like lip color. but Half Red is just a great lip liner to use. If you're kind of in between like the mauve rosy tones, you might really like this lip liner to kind of work with all of your lipsticks and like kind of get the most out of one lip liner. Then my last favorite is this lipstick. I didn't put this lipstick in my little demo thing that I'm inserting here, but I was just like, okay, red with this is too much. So, and I didn't really coordinate. So this one is the Motives lipstick in Scandalous. These are the Motives Mavens. These are amazing. The Motives liquid lipsticks are like some of my favorite liquid lipsticks. This one in particular, this color is just so striking. I got so many compliments when I wore it. There were like 3 girls who complimented me in New York. And then I always get questions about this lipstick whenever I put it on my Instagram stories, my Snapchat, or just like when I post a picture of this. It's the lipstick I'm wearing in my picture where I talk about like my brows. Oh, in my last video actually. This is the lipstick I'm wearing. It's amazing. It's just such a pretty red. It makes your teeth look super red, white. So whenever I want to go for a red lip, I just pull this one out. It's tiny. It's great to touch up with. You hardly ever need to touch up with it though, because it's just such a good long-lasting lipstick. But yeah, Scandalous is like my fave and I love it, and I wish more people kind of used it because it really is like very flattering on a lot of skin tones. Oh, and just like a side note, I did return the Maybelline CC cream thing. I did a whole demo review. No, I was trying on new products, and that was one that I was like kind of on the fence on. I really wanted to like it. I just returned it. I didn't love it. It just wasn't giving me what I wanted to give me. It looked great in the video, and like, yeah, you can make it work, but I was kind of working too much when I was trying it on by myself without like the camera on. It was just a little bit too much work, so I just decided to return it, and I'm glad I did. I would just stick to face and body if you want something very slight, subtle coverage. That one just didn't do it for me. Alright, that is it for my monthly favorites. I'll wait until the empties, probably next month or probably in the middle of the month. But for now, I hope you guys enjoyed this video slash tutorial slash demo of how I use my favorite products and what they were and why I love them so much. If you haven't already, make sure you're subscribing to this channel here. I post weekly videos sometimes every once in a while. I'll do 2 a week, and then I also am on Snapchat and Instagram. I like to post on there almost every single day. I have all my socials linked down below. Alright guys, I'll see you later. Bye.